Wow, it's time for another show full of tips and ideas from the sales growth leadership expert, Dean Akers. Known for his experience in hyper-growing companies and creating cultures for high-performance teams, here's Dean.
Welcome to your Sales and Leadership Ninja Show. I'm your head ninja, Dean Akers, and every week I bring you a rant to stimulate your thinking in either the realm of sales and or leadership. Today's show is thriving in sales during a pandemic. So with the pandemic and the lack of networking, cold calling, and events to meet and see customers, this has actually freaked out a lot of sales and management folks. I've met with a number of them or talked to a number of them, and they'll just tell me it's tough, and I'm asking them why, and they tell me they can't meet, blah, 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 blah. I would suggest to you today that this pandemic, in reality, if you pivot, has actually created new opportunities. The standard would be to just sit around and talk about how it is now. I'd like to say if you adopt that I'm not going to let this slow me down mentality, it in fact won't. Today I'm going to share some steps that have always worked for me. They're actually working even better now in the pandemic for my ninjas because they've been disciplined to it and because the lack of competition because people have not been disciplined to it. So that's what we're going to share on today's show. A couple premises. The average businesses you sell to are still in business. In a lot of cases, they're actually doing better. If they're a contractor, they're busy as anything. If they're a grocer, if they're into recreational products. I even know restaurants who were impacted pretty bad. Restaurants that have pivoted and now are doing really well. And actually, they've increased the per customer amounts of engagement. Instead of the one client coming once every 2 months, they're sometimes dining 3 times every 2 months or twice a month because they're getting it delivered and they love the great product, and the restaurants have pivoted in how they present and stuff and have some really cool top tools to present to somebody and provide this great experience within their own home. So the pandemic, you've got to pivot and you've got to be ready. So I want to share with you, if you're in sales or sales management, we're going to go through the 5 steps that have always worked. One is, all my ninjas have already done this, but if you haven't, create your list of potential customers. This is all the potential customers you could have. Now, some businesses, this is infinite. And when I say that, it's tens of thousands. And if that's the case, still get the customer list, but create a way to value it. More than likely, they're not all worth the same exact dollars. Let's say they were. Then look at geographic. Look at the influences of your 10 top customers, how they mimic your 10 top. So if you have 10 top customers and you know their DNA is whatever it is, and you have this huge list, look at people that have common denominators to your 10 top. Here's my point. When you create this list of potential customers and you determine what they're worth to you, now you have I'm going to lay out a strategy for you to always get them. First step, do research on the company. I can't tell you how many times I'll talk to somebody and they go, yeah, I can't get to them, blah, 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 blah. And I go, well, tell me about them. And they go, what do you mean? Tell me the 3 people you're trying to get to. Well, it's so-and-so. Tell me about that person. And they go, what do you mean? Where did he grow up? Where did he go to high school? Give me anything on him. What's his family look like? And they just look at me like I'm crazy, and they've done no research. With my future ninjas and people I help in my own company, I sit there and say, okay, let's Google now. And within 3 to 5 minutes max, we're going to know a lot about them. Now, here's the interesting thing is we've gone back to step 1 where we know what they're worth to me. Let's say I'm a sales guy or girl, and I know the client's worth $4,000 to me. If I want to be a ninja and make $200,000 a year plus, $200,000 is $100 an hour. So a customer's value to me is $4,000. That means I can in fact work 40 hours. That's right, I can work 40 hours. So do you think, ask yourself, am I taking the time to research my possible clients? And the answer, in so many cases, when I do this with folks that are not ninjas, they are stuttering and have not done it. Do not leave this step out. And then capture the data and put it in your CRM. If you don't have a CRM, get a CRM. Get your own CRM. Don't worry about your company one. Make sure you've got yourself together, because you're going to make $4,000 on these accounts. Step 3, and this is where the pandemic comes in. You're not able to cold call and stuff. Now you make a call via the phone. And my suggestion is not do the whole, I want to set a call up with you through emails and stuff. I would say pick the phone up and call. A, you're going to get a voicemail. B, you're going to get a gatekeeper. Or C, you're going to get the person you're trying to reach. Either one are okay. If you get a voicemail, leave a kind message with some respect to your data, a reference of something you've learned about them, i.e., I was just calling you. I know you're a member of blah, blah, blah association, and I'm looking to join, and I just want to get some data from you, and I'm so-and-so. Call me back at da-da-da-da-da. Then, or if you get their gatekeeper, you want to learn a little bit about them. Hi, what was your name again? Get their full name, first and last. Ask about them. If they've been there more than a year, what do you know about them? They know everything. You might not even need to be talking to the head guy. The gatekeeper can generally navigate you. Ask businesses, ask questions about them. And then if you get them, now engage and ask questions about, challenges through COVID, what they're doing to pivot. Learn about their business. It's more important at this juncture to learn about their business than puking all the crap you're going to tell them on them. And that's very critical, very critical. So respect their time. Subtly, if you know something about them because you've done the research, you might even say, wow, I was just talking to a buddy of mine in Montana. And you see where they just got back from Montana on a family vacation. And they go, how nice it is out there to get away. And the guy goes, man, I just got back from Montana. Really? Get out of here. And then that dialogue happens. And you bring all this up subtly. You don't go, hey, I saw on your Facebook you went to Montana. You don't creep them out. You use this to ask great questions. And remember their value to you and the hours you can devote. Again, if they're worth $4,000 to you as a commission, I'm using the example of our ninjas, and it's $100 an hour at $200,000, I can devote 40 hours. I promise you, I'm going to get to know them, and I know they're going to be my client. And the philosophy I use is not if they're going to be a client, but when they're going to be a client. Now on to step 4. You want to do your follow-ups. You've just had this great call. Now you want to put a handwritten note in the mail saying, Mary or Mr. Smith or whomever, the gatekeeper, whoever you talk to, thank you for letting me visit. Look forward to working with you in the future. And just a quick touch like that. If you got their voicemail, say, Mary or Bill, I got your voicemail. Look forward to talking to you in the future. Again, handwritten note in the mail. Not a frickin' email. Not a email. People right now in the pandemic are getting bombarded by emails. Emails are more detrimental to people now than they probably ever were. I've got people calling me that I talk to and they go, man, I'm getting inundated with BS emails. That would be you. So use your handwritten note to create a wow or a different touch point. Then if they were talking about somewhere they had just gone from, or you had a lot of time to find some stuff about them, or the gatekeeper, she said that she grew up in, Fort Lauderdale and she loved surfing, and you all of a sudden find, now you go to thrift books and you order a book on surfing and say, hey, I saw this book at a garage sale or somewhere, or I saw this friend of mine had this book and I wanted to send it to you. Hope you enjoy it. Again, these topics and touches make a difference. The other thing is magazines. I get tons of magazines, all kinds of magazines, from travel to sports to different things. And as I get them, I tear the articles out that I think might be of interest, and I'll have a stack of articles. If I have a number of customers it impacts, I'll make 4 or 5 copies of the article. Or if it's just one, all I do is I put it in my note card and I go, Mary or Bill, thought you'd enjoy this article on mountain climbing. I know you're into it or whatever. And just shoot it to them. These touches are making a difference. They've always worked, but now in the middle of the pandemic, it'll set you apart and will give you bigger opportunities than you've ever imagined. Step 5, rinse and repeat. Once you've determined the economic value to you and your company, and you know they can use your product and service, and you have them on the list so you stack rank them, then just go back and rinse and repeat. And don't slow down. Be dedicated to it. Take 20, 30 minutes a day and focus on rinse and repeat, going through the first 4 steps. Quick review. Get your target list of customers. Step 2, do all the research on them. Step 3, cold call and make sure you respect their time and don't puke on them. Step 4, follow your follow-up strategy. Notes, touches, books, articles, Halloween cards, any kind of touches that makes them smile and remember you. And number 5, rinse and repeat. Don't give up. Just remember, it's just not a matter of if you're going to get a count, it's when you get them. It's if you follow this proven strategy. The operative word is it always works. Thanks for tuning in each week. Remember to share if this helps you. My book, Self-Talk, Think Like a Child, is available on Amazon. I really appreciate all of you that have bought it. I have gotten ranked on it, and it just means a lot to me. And if you have any questions, you can always email me at help@adjunctco.com. That's help@adjunctco.com, and I'll be glad to help you. I've got my company right now, the Ness Health Company. We're deploying all this. We're having big times. We got people across the globe. We're helping everybody, all of our associates work to grow our company, and we're adopting what I'm sharing with you. So remember, to thrive in a pandemic, just follow the 5 steps every day. If you do, I promise you big success even in these times. See you all next week, and thanks for tuning in.
We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Subscribe today to our podcast and send questions or thoughts to help@deanacres.com. Also, visit us at www.deanacres.com to listen to prior shows and view helpful videos. Also, great tips to download. Thanks again. See you next week.